check it out. We are gmail.com. This is a demo of the Aura engine. We're gonna give to provide some context, when I took AP Human Geography in high school, maybe 15 years ago, 17 years ago, I was completely enamored by the impact environment had on the quality of people's lives, especially in the in the context of Africa. So, what I'm going to do today is use the Aura engine to explore some curiosities. Let's call it a deep dive into what we can map and see from the perspective of the Aura engine. I'll make my window a little smaller. Yeah, there we go. So, and what I noticed is, geopolitical dynamics and certain resources and extraction points and cultures and things like that. So let's just become familiar with what's going on. And we could start with the roads. I know through maps we can see certain things in greater fidelity. So we have the roads here. I'm going to switch the base map to something like this. So this already starts to look really nice. Let's look for a smart location search. We'll go for like 30 of Africa's major cities. Major cities in Africa. This is our smart location search. I'll bring this up here. And with the geocortex, I'll search for major let's say mineral extraction points in Africa. And I'll select all these points, which are cities, make them red. So right now it's looking for mineral extraction points. We have our cities in red. I'm going to hit confirm. This is great finds. I have several strong options. Best fit for major mineral extraction points, major mineral deposit sites in Africa. So it found a data set. Let's see if it's able to visualize that on the map for us. And in the meantime, I might look for world forests, add all these forest layers. So geocortex ran into a little issue. That's no problem. We'll try again in a sec. Alright. So we have our forest now. Mixed forest, evergreen, these wooded. So those are deciduous forests and these are evergreen forests. Cool. Let's try this again. I'll say show me mineral deposits in Africa. And let's actually just give that a moment. Try this again. go. We got geocortex to work. So we actually have some major clusters we could look like. And it looks like these are on the coast. So we have some major mineral extraction points over here. I can use an aerial location search, bring this down a bit and say mineral extraction. Run a search here. Maybe I say mines. Let's say here. Let's widen our search radius. So there's a tin mine and a gold mine. We'll make these yellow. Looks like there's a big cluster here, so we'll do something similar. Platinum mine, more mines. And what we can do is switch to our other AI, which is more of like a research narrative, rather than visualizing geometry. It's more in charge of something else. So I'll say, let's enrich these first. So I can click on them and enrich them. Now when I read about it, I could read a little bit about it. Jointly owned by Zimbabwe, the Karo Platinum modules are... So it's talking about a dike, which is so a lot of platinum coming out of here. Put it in yellow. And then we could enrich these as well. Making sure all our points are enriched, and I'll save this scene, make it yellow. Alright, so I'll select the mines we've got so far, maybe select all these, and I'll say you know, I have selected some major cities and what looks to be like mines in deep clusters of mineral extraction on the continent of Africa. I want to understand resource extraction dynamics better on the continent. So we'll see what it's able to throw together there. You've selected a revealing geographic pattern. Harare anchors Zimbabwe's resource extraction economy, while the surrounding markers show you of the infrastructure of that extraction, the Karo Platinum, saline chrome, site clusters near Kadoma, and the Great Dike, Zimbabwe's principal mineralized structure. Let's maximize this. Then you've jumped northeast to Egypt's eastern desert, capturing Sukari, gold, and Igla tin, which sit on different but equally strategic mineral province. This reveals three critical dynamics of African resource extraction: geographic concentration of wealth versus production. However, the capital, the finance hub, is roughly 100 kilometers from Cairo, and saline operations. This distance typically As typical across the continent, extractions happen in remote, difficult terrain, the Great Dike, the Eastern Desert, while capital flows through urban centers. The mines generate revenue that theoretically flows to national treasuries and corporations, but the spatial separation creates logistical governance and inequality challenges. Both clusters sit on ancient geological structures. Zimbabwe's Great Dike is a 550 million year old indigenous body laden with platinum group metals, chromium. Egypt's Red Sea hills host Archean age gold systems. These weren't chosen randomly, they were identified by colonial surveyors and remain the foundation of modern extraction because the geology is simply there and world class. Africa's resource extraction geography is not a product of recent investment strategy, it's inherited from 19th century geological surveys. Sakari operates at a large-scale mechanized open pit underground operation. Centaur Minerals. So I could also I'll save again. I could look for maybe a geology map of Africa. Africa geology. Let's see if we find anything. There's vegetation and land cover. South Africa geology. Let's see. No. What was that one? It was called bathymetry. Let's look for that. Bathymetry. Africa. Alright. That's not working. So very interesting. I could also use our smart location search to look for more mines. I'll say mines in northern Africa, and then I'll do mines in southern Africa. And down here I could say, show me water bodies on the continent of Africa. Show me all water bodies on the continent. So these two are thinking right now. Let's see what we get. We got some more mines. And we got our water bodies looking successful and good. We got our rivers. Maybe I could make this more dark. Let's see. Does that help? We're working on being able to hide the clouds. That'll be simple, but let's see. So, more mines. These are mines too. Mines. Wait, we could ask questions about these mines. Oops. We're going to be going north and south a lot, so we can save some views. So I was hitting save. this. And then I'm going to save a view. So I'll go to my save views. I'll say south. Bring this over here. Go up. And I'll call this north. Now when I want to switch between the two, I could go south or north. Looking pretty interesting. I'm gonna say what is the significance of these two mines? Oops, look, I did. I'm gonna say again. What about these two mines? Oh, so these are uranium. This is Niger's uranium sector. Let's look for mineral extraction points in the Congo. And I'll save this view as central. Let's try this again. I think I interrupted it. And at the end of this, we could take this whole conversation and export report. Let's see if GeoCortex could find mineral extraction. Well, it has. So the looks like there's. Let's see. We have a few points here, but actually the Congo is not doing terrible. What's at the center of this cluster? We got Nahud, Nayala, some major cities going on here. Let's look for dams along the Nile River. And let's get the shipping routes in here that are taking these resources elsewhere. Shipping routes. So we got the dams along the Nile River. And we could say, yeah. Go here. Select these. I'll say this. I'll just select everything that's here along the Nile River, and I'll say with these locations in mind, tell me the story, the geopolitical, natural resource, water story of the Nile River in an academic context. Then I could come over here and say, show me. It says you've selected a critical hydrological corridor. This is the Blue Nile Basin and its downstream reach. The infrastructure nodes that define one of the planet's most contested water systems. I mean, I really want to understand this. This is not a marginal resource dispute. It is a water scarcity crisis playing out across 3 states with 200 million plus people combined, mediated by aging colonial era treaties and emerging hydro sovereign doctrines. Yeah, I remember this being talked about while I was at Harvard. I'm gonna say, show me ports off the coast of Africa. And let's get a lot of them. Let's say 30. And I'll save in a bit. Alright, now we have some ports to look at. Let's see. Green. Make them all green. There's probably a better way to do this. Maybe when we create new points, we can just automatically select a color. We can update that. So this is a great geopolitical mapping tool. And then I'll ask one more question and save this scene and make a report, and we could keep diving deeper, huh? We can see how far we get. That's not what we want. We just want this one guy. Getting all the colors good. Okay. So this one's new. This is a new port. Port of Djibouti. And then it's the Red Sea. We could look for a canal. That's the Suez Canal. Put it in pink. Alright. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna go here, and I'm just gonna say, what is the relationship between these two locations? So we see the mines, we see the mines in yellow, but blue for these things below. Pretty fascinating. And then once this is all kind of laid out for us, and we have this conversation going, I can go to reports, and I'll say Africa report 1. And that'll start generating a report based on our conversation, and we have a scene saved with that. So that'll take about 5 minutes. What else can we do in the meantime? We could look for certain feature layers. So we have map tile layers that we've brought in. All these forests and stuff. So I could say, feature layer search African cities, maybe. Let's try world cities. Cool. And then I can take world cities over 300k, attach it to my world roads, and then we could start pulling in information about the cities. Let's just at least do one. Kano. Come here, fetch the feature. Is that not working? Let's try Cairo then. Maybe Kano's not on our list. Fetch here. So there we go with our report is done. Resource extraction and hydropolitical infrastructure in Africa. Let's try that again. Oh, my Acrobat is not happy right now. I don't want to minimize my screen. Let's see, if I go like that. Adobe Acrobat. I see, I just don't have Acrobat installed anymore. Anyway, you saw what that was meant to be. I guess you'll have to find out what the report looks like by building your own. And I'm sure many of you have Acrobat. But anyway, that'll be the end of the video for today. Thank you.